Well, in the wake of the heartbreaking and deadly shooting in Georgia, the left-wing media is exploiting the tragedy to twist Senator JD Vance's words about the shooting. Watch this. This is the Associated Press. They accused Vance of calling school shootings, quote, a fact of life. You are looking at the headline. It reads, quote, JD Vance says school shootings are a fact of life, calls for better security. But wait, here is what he actually said.
Then we have to think about how to make this less common. Now look, the Kamala Harris answer to this is to take law-abiding American citizens' guns away from them. That is what Kamala Harris wants to do. But we have to ask ourselves, we actually have been able to run an experiment on this because you've got some states with very strict gun laws, and you've got some states that don't have strict gun laws at all. And the states with strict gun laws, they have a lot of school shootings. And the states without strict gun laws, some of them have school shootings too. So clearly strict gun laws is not the thing that is going to solve this problem. What is going to solve this problem, and I really do believe this, is look, I don't like this. I don't like to admit this. I don't like that this is a fact of life. But if you are a psycho and you want to make headlines, you realize that our schools are soft targets. And we have got to bolster security at our schools so that a person who walks through the front door we've got to bolster security so that if a psycho wants to walk through the front door and kill a bunch of children, they're not able to.
Now, under pressure, the AP quickly fixed their headline, deleting their tweet and adding that Vance laments school shootings. But that didn't stop the Washington Post, the New York Times, ABC, NBC from stirring the pot with headlines like these. Morning Joe admitted that Vance had been taken out of context.
The truth of the matter is he's right that at this moment, this is a fact of life. And in fairness, his full comment was, I don't like that this is a fact of life. He said, we don't have to like the reality we live in, but it is the reality we live in.
So wait, Vance is right. Where are all the headlines slamming Willie Geist for saying that? But even the facts said right to their faces could not stop Morning Joe from pushing their agenda, even when it involves the loss of 4 lives.
That comment that he made right there is another very, very stark example of the difference between these two campaigns, Harris-Walz versus Trump-Vance. They see it, Trump-Vance, as a fact of life, and Kamala Harris immediately said after the shooting, this is a choice we're making, and we have to make a different choice. People don't want this to be a fact of life.
No, mothers don't want to fear.
Nobody wants to choose this.
Fathers don't want to fear sending their children to school.
You know, this went viral last night, and I want to get to the AP and the absurdity of what they did in a moment. But Kennedy, this is the loss of 4 lives. This is a tragedy. This is every parent's heart broke. And anyone who has an impetus to jump on JD Vance and politicize this and take out of context when he was lamenting a situation, acting like he said something cavalierly, I just don't know where that person comes from.
No, and they're the ones who are making the argument that because school shootings are a fact of life, we have to confiscate all guns. You know, that's the argument that they are making themselves. But what's disgusting about this is a lot of these newsrooms are so hyper-politicized and, you know, didn't learn any lessons from 2016 and 2020. And instead, they are going to use subtle language in any way they can to move their chosen candidate forward and to make sure they demonize the person that they don't want in the White House by taking phrases like this out of context, because it's clearly not what he said. And, you know, this is actually the more emotional JD Vance has been on the stump so far. And it obviously means something to him as a father. And taking things out of context and abstracting doesn't solve any of the problems we have right now. And especially, as we talked about in the last block, the mental health epidemic we have among young people. And, you know, particularly young boys.
Yes, no doubt. Harris, he said very clearly, I don't like that this is a fact of life. The AP, JD Vance says school shootings are a fact of life. It is journalistic malpractice.
Look, the Associated Press took down the information that they had posted, but not before more than 2 million people had seen it.
Bingo.
So, I mean, you want to say they quickly took it down. I don't think 2 million saw it within 10 or 30 seconds. I think they thought about it and said, well, I guess we better take it down because the ratio is getting tough for them in terms of journalism that says you're lying here. Taking things out of context, you're lying. Why would you do that? Why would you purposefully put these words in someone's mouth and make it look a certain way? What is the complicit goal in this? Yeah. Are you in cahoots with the left? Do you want to make him look bad? I mean, it just brings up more questions. Okay, so we'll take it down. We don't know what those 2 million people did with it. I mean, maybe they reposted it on their own. Does anybody want to do the in-trail on that?
Yeah.
Like, that's a lot. They certainly don't. They want to, wash their hands of it. All of it is because we tolerate it, though.
Yeah.
And that's a time for someone like, a social media platform to say, look, we really do require the facts. We'll hold our breath.
There's the media, besides Elon, there's the media and then there's the Democrats, Charlie. Here's the Democrats. They're still doubling down on the lie. Kamala Harris, school shootings are not just a fact of life. It doesn't have to be this way. Kamala Harris headquarters, JD Vance responds to the deadly shooting of Georgia by saying it's a fact of life. Hillary Clinton, we know regular mass shootings aren't a fact of life, quote Vance, or something that we just have to get over, quote Trump. They're just doubling down on these lies, acting like these two candidates don't care about children and shootings, and they very clearly do.
Yeah, and I think it's because of what you just said, Harris. It's because, the damage was done as soon as they posted it, and of course it cost them nothing to take it back down. But, the Associated Press has enjoyed, for many, many years has been sort of the most authoritative, most immediate voice for disseminating the news, and this is what they've become. They're after clickbait, is what they're after. They're trying to come up with the most, the most clickbaity sort of headline that they can come up with, and they do a very good job of teeing off so that everybody on the left knows the notes to hit, and then they all start hitting them, and then they can pull it back later. And but the damage is done.
So when do we believe them?
Never.
Do
your own research.
Yeah, exactly. I've gotten to the point where I don't believe them ever anymore.
Yeah. Yep, that's right. Listen to the quotes for yourself. Emily, and meanwhile, what our country needs right now is Republicans, Democrats, media, every person coming together and figuring out how to stop this. But they can't resist playing politics on the backs of lives.
Yes, I wonder how many of those people that jumped on that bandwagon, Hillary Clinton, those morning, can they name the names of the victims? Can they name all four? Could they name one? Can they name the city that it occurred in? I challenge them. Because the whole point is, yes, they just hopped on the rabid train to demonize a political candidate and to politicize this situation. And I note that lies are printed on A1 and corrections are printed on A6.
Great
That
point.
absolutely the amplification of the first headline always goes around the world a million times, and the correction might go to the edge of the newsroom. And unfortunately here, it reminds me of when President Trump made that joke. He made a joke about being a dictator on day one. See how many people know that that's a joke? I think very few, because the whole point is the lie was amplified.
Great point. Who sees the cleanup after 2 million clicks and views? Who sees the cleanup?
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.